Good afternoon, guys. So we've just want to do a summary. We've had a really good day today, so I want to do a summary on the week and a summary on the month to date. And of course, I'll go over today. We only did one trade today, so I just want to go over the summary of that trade and provide a little bit of a technical analysis insight into that trade. And hopefully, you know, for those uninitiated, they might be able to learn a little bit about technical analysis and the importance of that in terms of day trading. So we've had a good week so far. 41,700 is the profit on the week. That takes the month profit to 49,200. That's 49,290 actually. So we're really good. Now this week has been particularly buoyant. Particularly with the energy stocks. We had a couple of other areas, agricultural stocks and cannabis stocks, etc. But the majority of trading this week has been on the energy stocks, and the last 2 weeks have been particularly buoyant around the energy sector and the Ukraine crisis pushing the price of oil and gas up, and the stocks have followed suit. So we've had a lot of volatility in the energy sector, and we've been able to take advantage of that. So regardless of the fact that we had a big loss, a big red day on Wednesday to the tune of almost $8,000, we still finished, almost $42,000 in green on the week for this week. Now, today was a good day too, so 4,700 green. We actually had a trade profit and loss of almost $5,000, so we only traded the one stock. And I want to go into a bit more detail about that particular stock here. So that stock was Marigold. And it's in the agricultural sector. I believe it's a cannabis stock, but Marigold, it moved up and it actually gapped up over 200% pre-market, and it was 227% pre-market, and then it sold off. So if I look at it on the 5-minute chart, we can see here that it went up to the high of 889, and then it sold off, and it came all the way back down to $4, around the $4 area, and even below that, kind of 350. So it sold off. It moved back up again pre-market to kind of 750s and the likes, but the fact that it retraced that this much before the market open, it's trading so much below the volume weighted average price, the VWAP here, as the market opens, didn't fill me with a huge amount of confidence to start off with. So if I go back to the 1 minute and how we traded it, as it's coming into the market open, we can see here that it's trading well below the volume weighted average price. It's ranging the range of each one of these candles is not very good, so it's we're not seeing a volatile parabolic type moves before the market opens. So I'm keeping this on the watch list just because it's a gapper and it's got high volume, a high relative volume. It was probably the best gapper. It was the top gapper of the day, and it certainly had the most volume of the day coming into the open. So it was still on the watch list, even though I didn't like it because it was trading so far under the volume weighted average price. But I've seen these make good moves, and it's had that consolidation period, as we can see here. And I've seen these make good moves in the past. So it had the potential. So we're keeping it on the watch list. At the open, there was no other real big movers at the open, and this didn't move straight away. So the first few minutes, it was again consolidation. It was moving. It moved up slightly. It got back above $4 and then pulled back down, up again, and it was small range to start off with, and then the volume started to come in with this stock. So at this stage, we're about 6-7 minutes into the market open, and the volume starts to arrive, and it moves up to break the volume weighted average price. Now I'm interested. Okay. So I've got a couple of areas that I'm really interested in here. So the volume weighted average price, the break of the volume weighted average price, but also the $half. I keep saying about how the $half, half, whole and quarter dollars are key psychological levels in day trading. And this was no different. This tended to respect those levels as areas of support and resistance. So what I did is I was waiting for it to move up and then come back and retest the volume weighted average price, and just hold that there. So it moved up, it created a range up here, an opening range of $5 resist. It went up to $5, it went up to $4.99. So then our resistance area there was $5. Our high of day was $5. So I watched it pull back. I had the opportunity to get in and buy the, utilize the VWAP bounce strategy, but I didn't want to see that. It was for me, it was still very, very risky. But what happened is we saw an increase in volume on that candle as it did bounce on the VWAP. So I knew that the next entry point for me was the high above the next candle to make a new high. So the candle here was the high of that candle was 92. So the next candle to do 93 or above was my entry point. So I got in and we entered for 5,000 shares at 497. And we actually pushed the button at 495, but we got a poor fill, so we got 497. We rolled that up until it started to make a little bit of a pullback, and we took some profit. We only took half the position off, so we took 2,500 shares off at 504. So we made it a 7-cent move up on that one, and we took a little bit of profit. Now I've got a cushion on that. So as we move up again, I add to the position. I add another 5,000 shares. So at this stage, we've got 7,500 shares in the trade. And we continue to move up. I take a little bit of profit off 2,500 shares. I'm trading in 2,500 share blocks now. And we take another bit of another block off of 2,500 shares up here at 550 for the break of the $0.50. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't see the resistance at the $0.50 psychological level. It did pull back. So I was right to take profit there. But then it made another move up. So as we broke the $0.50, I added to the position. I got again, I was late to the trigger, so I actually only got filled at 565, 2,500 shares. As we moved up, I took profit again at 580s. And then I added for the break of the whole dollar. I added another, again, we've got a good cushion on this name now. I added it for the break of the whole dollar. And we got filled at 606, so we're going to take more profits here, and then we add again here. We had another 2,500 here, and we added another 5,000 here. So we're going a little bit bigger in size. When it went up, it didn't break the $7. It was rejected at $7. So when it came back, I actually took 5,000 off. So the previous ad, I kind of got in and got out break even, if you will. And then we went up to test $7 again. It went up to 711. So I was up wanting it to get up to 720 before I was going to take profit. And it plunged down. And then when it reached our average buying price at this stage, we were 634, I think it was, and it got to 640, 644. So that's when I pulled the trigger. For me, it was just not there. But what's interesting about this stock, and it's not just that it was a great trade, and we made almost $5,000 on this trade. It was the way that it respected the technicals. So if I continue now, we finished the trade there, but I just want to continue the behavior of this particular stock. And on the 1 minute time frame here, this was the high of the day, and I drew this trend line. So as we came all the way back down to what is effectively the 630 level, and it came all the way back down, it went back all the way up. And it tried to test $7 again, didn't quite get there, and then moved all the way back down. And what we saw is this flat bottom forming. So what we tend to get, and what I like to look for are flat top breakouts with the break upwards, because I tend to be a long bias trader. If you're a short bias trader, you would have been looking at this with and rubbing your hands, because we see this for a potential flat bottom breakdown. And we've got this flat bottom, we tests here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And 6 times it actually touches this 630 level, and it comes down and gets within range of it another, 4 or 5 times as well. So what we find is that it's finding a lot of support at this 630 level. But it moves back up, and then I draw this trend line here from and creates a lower high. I draw this trend line at this stage from the high of day to this lower high, and then that's there. And then what I'm watching here on the 1 minute is it keeps coming down to test this support level, and it moves back up and tests this trend line here. It comes down and moves back up. When it finally breaks, we get a bit of a fake out. It breaks this trend line and volume comes in, but it comes into the downside. So we get this flush down, and we get this what was a flat bottom and it breaks down and it flushes down. But we're not done there. So, and that's the thing, and this is the beauty of technical analysis. It falls all the way below, comes down to a kind of the $5 level, the whole dollar level. It breaks down, it comes all the way down to 485. But if we look at the range around $5, it comes down to $5, and these candles are forming within the $5 range. So and then it comes back up, and it comes back up to retest the volume weighted average. We get this volume push in, and as we break the volume weighted average, we get this volume, and it pushes all the way back up and breaks this trend line. But it's rejected at what was that previous support line, is now resistance. And that's a classic case of respecting the technicals. These support levels, they're interchangeable resistance. Once they break through the support, it then becomes resistance to break above again. So then we come back down to the volume weighted average price, and it uses the volume weighted average price as support. It moves back up. It tests this support line again. It moves back up. Then it starts to use this previous trend line as a support line. And it moves back up, and it starts using this range around the 630 as a resistance, and it keeps testing this 630 level. And on the 1 minute time, we're getting again and again and again, coming up, coming down, consolidating underneath, all the way back down to the volume weighted average price, moving back up and testing the and testing this 630 level. Then it's coming down to this trend line that we drew, half an hour ago, and it's testing it, using it as support. So as we're moving along, we move back up, we test this 630 line. We're getting within range of this $0.25 630 before it's rejected again. So again and again, it's moving between these levels. And if I just kind of zoom out a little bit so you can see it on a macro basis, how it's respecting these levels. And it's going down again and again. We're seeing how it's just behaving, and then now it's just after midday, and we seem to have been done for the day. But let's have a look. Are we done for the day? Well, let's zoom out and look at the 5 minute chart. So what I did with the 5 minute is, if I zoom out, right out here, we can see that on pre-market, once I got to this high of day, once I got out of the trade, I drew this trend line from the pre-market high to the high of session, the high of day here, okay? And then I watched how it behaved. And what we've seen is that's now acting as resistance. So we've seen it come back down, and that's now being seen as a resistance level. So what I'm trying to get at here is the power of technical analysis. Once you get into to being able to read the charts, and you be able to draw these trend lines, you'll be able to identify these areas of support and resistance, key areas. You're able to spot the patterns that are forming around these key areas. It gives you the opportunity, and you'll be able to see that the entry signals and then the entry points and the exit signals before you have the breakdowns. And it gives you the opportunity to actually use these signals and these patterns to take profits. So this was a great example, and I'll be using this example in the future. This was a great example to use from a schooling point of view, just looking at how the technicals can impact your decision making for profitable trades. So today, great day, almost $5,000. The trade profit and loss $4,950 on Marigold, and just respecting the technicals the way it did was really good. So I hope you got a lot out of this, what was a summary turned into a technical analysis lesson. I hope you got a lot out of it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you don't have subscribed already. Give me a like, and join me on Monday morning for 2 hours before market for the live show. And we'll continue trading then. If you want me to teach you how to do it, check the link in the description for my course as well. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.